thousands of aspirants have shown interest and registered with the party with the intention of flying the party's flag in the next general election. And we want to assure our aspirants who have indicated interest that the party will hold free and fair nominations as it happened during the nominations for the Kalau by-election. We have so far received 34 aspirants who have expressed interest to run for gubernatorial seats on DCP ticket across the country. We have also received 98 aspirants to run for various senatorial seats across the country. We have also registered 764 aspirants for members of the National Assembly, including women reps. We have received 11,564 aspirants for the various positions of members of county assembly across the county. Our membership, we have so far registered 4,576,345 persons who have registered internally as members of the party, because we are having a big challenge with the Office of the Registrar of Political Parties. The system is refusing to remove people from UDA to DCP, and we think it's deliberate. We want to tell UDA, you can keep the names on the ORPP register, but you cannot keep their hearts there, they are in DCP. So what we have done, we have our own internal register, and so far we have 4,576,345 and we have told the Secretary General designate the target is 10 million members before we go. And there are so many lapses surrounding his security, probably I would endanger his security, which is against national interest. It is very irresponsible and reckless for the government to play around with the security of President William Ruto. President William Ruto is very unpopular, I agree. But I must admit, in my own estimation, there will be political instability in this country. I, Rigathi Gachagua, do not want instability in this country. We have no other country and we don't want instability. We want William Ruto to be safe. We want William Ruto to be alive and to be well. We want to have the opportunity. The problem of the security of William Ruto is that he has a CS interior who is naive, childish, and juvenile. In the inner circles of the ministry, I am told he is called the Minister for Entertainment, Waziri wa Sherehe. Security chiefs are telling me he is not available to be briefed of the country. And when he is available, he does not comprehend security briefs. He is known for party after party. He is too excited by the position. He is partying the whole night. And security chiefs cannot reach him. And when they do reach him, he is unable to comprehend the security briefs. And what we are asking, when we had the Gen Z revolt and William Ruto disbanded the cabinet, I was deputy president, and everybody was demanding that Kipchumba Murkomen should be sacked. William Ruto asked me whether he could appoint him as CS Interior. I couldn't believe my ears. And I told him, you can't. This seat of Interior requires somebody who is mature and who has no political ambition. Because anybody who is ambitious will play around with security agencies and intelligence to further his political ambition. And we did agree with William Ruto at that time that he take him to the Ministry of Sports and Youth. And that's where he belongs. This ministry is too serious for such a childish minister. And we are asking William Ruto, you have been unable to get anything right in this country. In the economy, you have failed. Education, you have failed. Health, you have failed. Investment, you have failed. You can't get anything right, including your own security as a person. That's the question we're asking. We're asking, are Kenyans safe? How can Murkomen guarantee the safety of the ordinary Kenyans if he cannot guarantee the security of his appointing authority? The man who has appointed him to the job is not safe. What happens to the rest of Kenyans? In May 2025, William Ruto narrowly escaped a shoe aimed at his head, which he blocked with his hand in Migori. In Soweto, Kibra, on 28th April 2026, a flying bottle of water was hurled at the president by a surging crowd. 6th February 2026, another young man ran to him in Mombasa. His whole security, the inner cordon, the outer cordon, the whole security architecture around the president yesterday was caught flat-footed. The same happened again in Wajir. And people are asking, if the president of Kenya is not safe, who is safe? I'm wondering, where was the AD camp? Because I've had the benefit of undergoing paramilitary training in my earlier years. And my understanding of the security architecture around the president is that the ADC is the last man on the defense line. That if everything else failed and somebody came with a knife, the ADC would go between the president and the knife, or between the president and the bullet. Where is our ADC? He is deployed to be with the president and escort him wherever he goes, including the toilet. What has been happening? That strangers come and accost the president, and everybody is running helter-skelter. The ADC is not there, there is no security. What if that man who came yesterday had a knife? If he could hold his neck and almost twist it, he would have knifed him. What if he was a suicide bomber? This is a very sad state of affairs, and we want to tell William Ruto, you must be very careless, and you have been very careless with the management of the affairs of this country. But you cannot be careless about the management and the stability of the Kenyan nation. You cannot take your security recklessly and in a careless manner. Because if anything happened to you, there will be chaos in this country. There will be instability in this country. In other jurisdictions, by now, the CS Interior would have resigned, the IG would have resigned, everybody would have resigned. But what has happened? Some changes have been done. Let me give Kenyans a snippet of what is happening around the president. I've wanted to avoid this topic because I didn't want really possible enemies of the president to know how exposed he is. But the matter now is in public, it has come to public, like everybody knows, that their president is totally exposed. He has no security around him, he's surrounded by jokers. I'm told most of those people who were guarding him yesterday were busy on WhatsApp and TikTok. They were only realizing the president has been accosted half a minute after the possible assailant had already accosted the president. What is happening is that the presidential escort unit is a demoralized lot. It is demoralized because one, Kipchumba Murkomen, Eliud Langat, and the immediate escort commander, Mayu, have ethnicized that unit. Nearly all officers are from one community where the president comes from. All other officers from other communities are very demoralized, and they are never given an opportunity to escort the president around. Escorting the president around comes with privileges and allowances. All officers from other communities don't leave the camp. It's only officers from the president's community that guard him. And these officers from the president's community have a sense of entitlement. They don't have to be professional. They are only guarding him and escorting him because they come from his community. That is why there is laxity and sheer recklessness around the president. Again, there is a lot of corruption in that unit. Officers have called me this morning. Most of them were guarding me. We know each other. Because the deputy president and the president are guarded by the same unit under the presidential escort commander. When they travel, their allowances. The DIG, Murkomen, and the immediate escort commander demand half the allowances of these officers for them to be allocated to escort the president. So they are very demoralized and very unhappy people. Even after half of the allowances have been taken, for 4 months they have not received the allowances. So they are a very demoralized lot. And they are saying they cannot understand why they are not being paid. Yet every day they allocated the duty to guard millions of shillings being brought to State House to bribe voters. They are the ones who supervise money being offloaded from trucks in sacks to State House. They guard millions of shillings with millions every day, yet they have no money in their pocket. They have not been paid their allowances. That is why they are not bothered with the security of the president. They really don't care. They have not been paid their allowances, yet they are the ones escorting money to be given to people who are coming to State House. They see members of parliament coming every Friday. They live with the brown envelopes, yet themselves they have nothing. That is the problem that we face. Again, I must tell William Ruto, please allow professionals to serve you. Why are you insisting that only your tribesmen should guard you? With the changes that were made yesterday, shamelessly, they were all from one community where the president comes from. But your tribesmen have let you down. You are so exposed. If you thought they are very loyal and they are the ones you can trust with your security, see what is happening today. They cannot be professional because they have a sense of entitlement. They have only been given duties to guard you because they come from your community. I want to tell William Ruto to think and think again. If we must have a Kalenjin as a CS Interior, we have very many Kalenjin people who have served this country with dedication. Very mature. We have the former IG Boynet. He can be a good CS Interior. We have Boynet, who was Director of National Intelligence. He can be CS Interior. Even Davis Chilchil, you can locate him from transport and bring him to Interior. He's very mature. But you can't have a minister who is childish in charge of the security of the country. And it is now very clear to the whole country that there is a problem. If the men who have sold to the Constitution to defend Kenyans from harm is himself exposed as in danger, what happens to the rest of the country? What happens to the rest of the country? William Ruto, you must know, although you are president, your security is a concern to the people of Kenya. Because it's important that you are properly guarded, you are safe and secure for the country to be politically stable. We don't want instability ahead of the elections. You must do the right thing. You must fire Murkomen and get somebody who is level-headed, somebody who knows what he's doing. You can pick somebody from your community if you only trust your community. But you can't have such a reckless and childish person to be in charge of the security of this country. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, you know that since Murkomen became the CS Interior, this country now is run by goons. You cannot tell the difference between goons and police officers. Goons have taken over the country. They ride in police vehicles. They are even supplied with tear gas. Goons and police have attacked churches. You remember we were attacked in ACK Wetima Church in Othaya by police officers and goons. This is a CS since the history of independence. We have never seen such a CS. And William Ruto, you are staring at disaster. And this country cannot have Murkomen as CS Interior as we go towards the elections. You have already seen what is happening in the Mount Kenya region. CS Interior, Murkomen, working with members of parliament, have sponsored thugs and goons to destroy people's property anytime there is some civil unrest. It is Murkomen who is doing it, so that he can convince William Ruto that Kenyans have no problem with him. It is the Kikuyu nation that have a problem with William Ruto. And the Kikuyus are fighting themselves and destroying their property. Instead of thinking how he can guard the president, instead of thinking how he can guard our borders. As we speak in Mandera, the town has been taken over by foreign forces from Jubaland. Instead of Murkomen working on that, he is sponsoring goons in the Mount Kenya region to cause havoc, to create an impression that there is a crisis in the Mount Kenya region. So I want to say, much as I don't like William Ruto, much as I have a big problem with the way he has been managed this country. I want William Ruto safe because it's important for the stability of this country. I want to have a chance to defeat William Ruto next year in an election. I want him to be safe. I also want the dignity of the office of the president to be restored. How do you explain to our children? How do you explain to foreigners that a known character can walk to where the president is and hold his neck and almost twist it? And it's a man who is guarded by over 800 police officers at any one time. This is sheer recklessness of unknown magnitude, and I think it's dangerous for the country. William Ruto, you may not care about your safety, but you must, because you took oath of office, care for this country and the stability of this country. And you cannot let Murkomen stay another day in office. It is not right. It should not happen. We are the laughing stock of all countries across the world. It is not right. Take Murkomen back to the Ministry of Youth and Sports. There he can do party after party. He can party with the young people. He can wear shoes worth $1 million. He can wear watches worth $500,000 and all those other childish and juvenile behavior that cannot be associated with a minister for interior. That is a serious docket. It's a very serious docket that calls for a very serious and somber person. I asked the president to order that officers of the presidential escort unit be paid their dues immediately so that we can restore their morale, to protect him and ensure that national security is taken care of and the stability of this country is in place. I ask him to consider allowing officers from other communities to also guard him, who are professional, not just to depend on his tribesmen, because so far they have let him down. I ask the people of Kenya to pray for this country. As from what I can see, we could have serious breakdown of law and order if the president is not protected and even harm came his way out of recklessness and irresponsibility of the CS interior. Finally, we want to reject in total the attempt by Hassan Omar to apologize to the people of the mountain for inciting Kenyans against them. Hassan Omar is just a mouthpiece of William Ruto. Those utterances were discussed in State House Mombasa, and everybody was given a script. Hassan Omar was given a script. Senate Speaker Amason Kingi was given a script. And the women rep for Lamu, Muthoni Marabu, was given a script by William Ruto. They all spoke in his presence. He spoke last and never admonished them, because that was his script. William Ruto, we want to tell you, in 2007, you mobilized 41 versus 1 against the mountain people. Thereafter, they were massacred in cold blood. Women and children were tortured in Kiambaa. We know you have picked from where you left. You are trying to mobilize 41 versus 1. It will not happen. Kenyans have refused to isolate the mountain people. And I want to thank all those who have spoken that the mountain people should not be isolated. William Ruto, you cannot be telling Kenyans that you hate tribalism and divisiveness, yet you are the master. All these things are being spoken in your presence at your behest. When Dan Wanyama spoke in Mount Elgon and said they'll isolate the mountain people, you were seated there, you did not admonish him, because that was your script. Hassan Omar is your Secretary General for UDA. What he is saying is your script. We know you have a beef with the mountain people because they have refused to support you. But you must remember they supported you once. And that time you never called them tribal. I told you in Olokalao to stop calling the mountain people tribal. They are not. When they elected you, you are not Kamau or Joroge. You are William Kipchirchir Arap Ruto. I can see you have changed tact now. Instead of abusing the mountain people, you have looked for people to abuse them. And what pains the mountain people, they were calling me when I was in London, is that as Hassan Omala was abusing the mountain people and saying they should be locked up at Shimolatewa and they should never get anywhere leadership, Kithure Kindiki from Tharaka was clapping and laughing and giggling sheepishly. It's a shame. How do you say you are from the mountain? People are abusing your community and saying they should be locked out of leadership forever and they should be jailed in Shimolatewa, and you are there clapping and laughing. Mukomen the other day tried to tribalize the protest against increase of oil prices by attacking President Uhuru Kenyatta and the Kikuyu Nation. And what does Kindiki do? The following day he goes to Mukomen to praise him and his wife, the way they are great Kenyans and how they have served this country with dedication after abusing his community. I want to tell William Ruto, you planned 41 against this one in 2007. You will not do it again. We will not allow you. You intimidated the Kikuyu people to leave the Rift Valley. Nobody will leave Rift Valley. I want to ask the mountain people not to buy fear and not to be intimidated. This is their country. They belong here. They pay taxes. They own land. And the Constitution protects them to stay anywhere. And we are asking, we have seen warmongers, Ayub Savula, Gimose, saying that they will steal elections. The IBC is quiet. Bwana Ethokon, why haven't you called a press conference to admonish those leaders who are beating drums of war? William Ruto, those are your allies. Why are you quiet? Why can't you say whether you believe in a free and fair election? Why are your allies threatening Kenyans and beating drums of war? When you tell Kenyans that election will be stolen, you are preparing this country for war. Yet the president, the beneficiary of those utterances, is quiet. IBC is quiet. I want to tell the people of Kenya not to be intimidated and not to fear. Nobody will steal these elections. And I want to tell those leaders from Western Kenya who are telling us what happened in Uganda and Tanzania. Kenya is not Uganda. Kenya is not Tanzania. Kenyan people will not take nonsense. And they will not be ruled by force, by Ruto or anybody else for that matter. And they should not use the experience of Uganda and Tanzania to intimidate the people of Kenya. I want to say, we can see the script. William Ruto, I'm challenging you today, speak out and say you are for free and fair elections. Tell the people of Kenya that you don't associate yourself with the utterances of your allies, that you shall rig the elections. Assure the people of Kenya that you shall accept the outcome of the general election. Assure the people of Kenya that you shall not incite your community to kill people and throw people out of the Rift Valley if you lose the elections. Kenyans are very concerned because you have done it before. When they hear those statements from your allies that they shall rig elections, when they hear the drums that you are preparing the country for war, you must speak out and confirm to the people of Kenya that you shall follow the rule of law and constitutionalism, that you shall abide by the will of the people, that you and your allies will not attempt to rig the elections. You must assure the people of Kenya that you will not do what you did in 2007, that if you lose the elections, you shall mobilize your community to evict other people and kill them. Those assurances are necessary. And you cannot just keep quiet when these things are happening. It is unacceptable, and you owe the people of Kenya an explanation. But we don't like the drums of war we are hearing from William Ruto and Kipchumba Murkomen and Hassan Omala and Amson Kingi threatening one community. We don't like the drums of war of Ruto allies threatening to rig elections. And we want IBC to speak up and say that there shall be free and fair elections, and call those politicians to order so that they stop inciting the people of Kenya, because that is incitement. What do you think the people of Kenya will do? You think they'll just sit and wait for Ruto to lead elections? They'll say no. This is public incitement of the highest order, and it's not acceptable. So mimi sitaki nizidi kupitia hapa, nafikiri nimesema ya kutosha. Nataka nimwalike wa Secretary General Designate, the Honorable John Methu, to give his maiden speech, and kutoka hapo tuachie hapo.
So thank you very much, Party Leader. Mine will actually be very short because I know I'll be calling you in a week or so that we can give you a brief as a party on the plans that we've made. But first I want to thank the party for the confidence they have in me to serve as the Secretary General Designate of the DCP party. My work and the work of the party members going forward, one is to increase the speed upon which the vehicle that will take William Ruto to Sugoi will be going. If the wheels are now rolling at 89 kilometers per hour, by the time we are done, we want to take it to 150 kilometers, because the people of Kenya cannot wait a day more of William Ruto's regime. Let me say this finally, my parting comment, especially on the last bit that has been made by the party leader. First, I want to also assure our party members that that responsibility that has been placed on myself and the Honorable Wanjiku Muya, we shall undertake it with military precision. We ensure that we deliver Olkarau to DCP, and it's not just delivering Olkarau to DCP, it's to ensure that the margin upon which we will beat William Ruto will be assigned and will help him and his few supporters to prepare psychologically of what is coming ahead. So we are ready, and we have laid down strategies on how we will actually increase our win, the win margin in Olkarau. Let me say this. For the people who are beating the drums of war, especially trying to run tribal bigotry, trying to accuse some communities of either this or that, especially President William Ruto and everybody who is in his government, the first mirror that you should take, and the first document that I would want you to consider, if you have time, because I hear most of you are doing enjoyment, and you're so busy bribing the people of Kenya and also collecting bribes. If you have time, I would want you to look at the numbers of the people who took you to power. As you try to badmouth the people from our region, the people from our Kenya region, I want you to look at that document of the results that were, the votes that were casted in favor of President William Ruto. As you watch, as people abuse us, because that's now the new strategy that you have employed, it must prick your conscience that out of the 100% votes that you got, 47% of those votes came from one region. Amason Kingi, as you badmouth and say that the people from our region should not come anywhere near power, you must know that you led a party called Pamoja Alliance, PA, contributed only 0.6% of William Ruto's win. The only votes that you brought to Kenya Kwanza are 0.6%. Yet you enjoy leading one of the arms of government. You are Speaker of the Senate of Kenya, courtesy of the votes of the people that you are badmouthing now. Let me also even remind you, because I was there when you were being elected, even your own senator, the senator for Kilifi, never voted for you. The people who voted for you are the people from the other places. None of us is a tenant in Kenya. All of us are here by right. And none of us who leave Kenya or any other part of this republic will continue serving. And let me also say this. The good thing is that the shoe is pinching everybody. The people from the Rift Valley are crying because the fuel prices have gone high. The people from the coast are crying because the economy is crumbling. The people from Nyanza are crying because our health is not working. The people from Western are crying because our education has collapsed. So, Mr. William Ruto, it is not you against any community. It is you against the people of Kenya. I thank you very much.
The new officials come to take a photo.
I know the people from UDA, have seen them starting saying that when I'm party, I'm the Secretary General designate of our party, I required to resign. Much as you want to give us advice, may I also remind you, because it is part of our history, William Ruto was the party leader designate of UDA for 2 years, and he was elected on the Jubilee Party.